we're going to talk about preparation, foundations. And you've got to get things right. So as you can see from the golf about foundations, anything that you're doing is, let's take property, but even in your own work, in your hobbies, you'll know that preparation is very, very important. And for me, it's singly the most important. Such as if you're building houses, you've got to look at what the land is. Are there any contaminants? Are there any issues which you've got to sort out? Can you get down far enough to see the condition of the ground and the soil and everything else underneath? Will you be able to use strip foundation? Will you need to do piling? These sort of things you've got to know, and that all comes from the planning stage. If you get it wrong, it can be very expensive. You will know from your own hobbies, from your own jobs, that if you want to do anything well, you need to spend time in the preparation. So, with the golf, bit of fun, but you saw me bang, knock the ball straight along the ground, and if the camera was the hole, it would have popped in. How do you get there? Well, it's practice. But one of the most important things, and if you've ever gone to learn golf, the things they teach you at the very beginning about foundations, about getting set, solid, getting a firm foundation in your body, and then you're going to use the arms, not your arms, you're going to use your shoulders and body to turn, because this way you're going to make a nice connection. You're going to get down, nice clean connection, and the way you move, you're going to keep that ball nice and straight. These are foundations. These are things that you learn early on in property, or should be learning in property, and these will stand you in good stead. So when you are looking at houses, you will come across some serious issues. Now, the more that you educate yourself about what's going on with the property, the more you understand about cracks, about damp, about infestation, about dry rot, and subsidence, and a host of other things, the quicker that you're going to understand what you can do and what you've got to run away from. So, for instance, I went to see a property a little while ago now, and I walked in and I saw it had some serious damp issues, and actually they tried to cover it up, and they boarded, they dry lined, which they put plasterboard all the way up to the top floor, and it was over 2 floors high. But more than that, it had breached the membrane in the middle of the floor. Now this is more serious. You've got to take all that out, you've got to remembrane it, and as much as my golden rule is to offer on everything that I see, this particular one I didn't. And I said, no, I'm not interested. But there was another investor who was walking around. I actually spoke to him. Now, afterwards, I was looking at something else. I spoke to the agent and I said, how did you get on with that property we saw last week? And she said to me, oh, that guy, he bought it. He's buying it for cash. He bought it, and about 2 or 3 months later, I was with the agent again. She said, Trevor, do you remember that property? I said, yes. He said, well, he completed on it 2 weeks ago. And yesterday he came back to me and said, can we put it on the market again? He made a huge mistake. Why? Because he didn't invest in his education. That's one. Okay, very expensive. You are the soil you're investing in. Okay, and if you learn the right way, you can save yourself a lot of pain. All right, many of you know I made a mistake. I got scammed when I was first into property. Bought 2 properties and I was scammed, but I'm convinced now it was down to the surveyor. They valued the property at double the price of what it was actually worth, and I'm still arguing today, but that's more than 12 years ago now. I'm still arguing, so I'm like a thorn in their side because I still hold them to account. But do you know something? If I'd invested for someone to teach me, wouldn't have made that mistake, and I would have saved tens and tens, if not hundreds of thousands of pounds. So education is a really important part for anyone's journey. But the foundation level, so, is singly the most important. And it doesn't matter what problems you've got in that property, assuming that they're not disastrous, like I said, they're damp or serious subsidence, you haven't got to knock it down or do so much work, it costs more to do it. So it's always a calculation. And you need to work your numbers out first, and then the foundation, the planning stage is number 2. So I'm looking at several projects. I sit down, I work the numbers out. I go right to the end. I look at what are the final values, how much rent will they get? If that is the final value, how much is the mortgage going to be? Okay, there's an affordability which I've spoken to you about. If that's fine, how much profit will I make? Can I pull all of the money that I put into it out? Yes or no? Do I have the option to rent the property, or has it only got an exit to sell it? I won't do the only sell way at this moment. It's the wrong time to do that. So I always have a dual exit. But the planning stage for the works is paramount, and that is where you're going to sit down, you're going to go, so first of all you're going to go round. I suggest you take a builder and you say, you know, how much to rip all this off, to treat the damp, how much to replaster, how much to paint, how much to put new skirting boards on, etc. Okay, so you've got an understanding of time, but don't just ask. He might say, oh, it'd take a week to plaster the whole house. You've asked the wrong question. You've got to ask the right question. With plastering, you then got to ask, okay, I understand about the plastering will take a week, but how long until I can work on it? How long will it take to dry out? And at this time of the year, in the winter, it's going to take a lot longer than it will in the summer. So you need to work that out, because you don't want the second group of people, workers, coming in and working, knocking the plaster when it's soft and destroying it. And then you've got to call the plasterer back in and start all over again. So these are the things you've got to know. Now, you know, that's just one part of it, but you need to look at a chronological way of putting your plans down. And so each worker comes in and does their job, and you've also got to understand that which workers want to come in and be on their own, so no one's in their way. Which worker needs to come in during some people are doing their work, and so they can get that work done, such as an electrician doing first fix. You got to know when they can come in, and then you have to know when you can have multiple workers in all working at the same time. But remember, if you get this wrong and you got workers in there who can't get on with their job, you're paying them to stand still. So this is where education is everything. Now, I'm very, very pleased in my mentorship program that I do in Cash Flow Freedom with Leslie Tao. I can tell you this last week, 3 of my mentees informed me that they had all had an offer accepted on their houses on the same day. Okay, that was Thursday last week. I spoke to them and found out that they all had their offers accepted. It wasn't all accepted on Thursday, they did it before, but I found out on Thursday. So that was a really good one. If you are interested in training or mentorship, please contact me, drop me an email, Trevor at cashflow-freedom.com, and I'll put it down there for you. It's not just me with the buy, refurb, refinance, lease options or development, but there's also Leslie Tao. Leslie Tao does rent to rent with the HMOs and rent to service accommodation. So we have clients at the minute that we have helped. They've come on just fairly recently, within the last, I would say, month, and already they're starting to get their service accommodation units. Why? To get cash flow. And so the way that Leslie and I talk about it is Leslie creates cash flow, I create capital, and a bit of cash flow if you're going to keep those properties. But if you want to know about more of our education and our training and our mentorship programs, please drop me an email. We'll send you stuff over to you by an email, and then we'll have a chat and just see where you are. But if you are coming onto the buy, refurb, refinance and you're looking at that, please, I have to insist, you have to have the funds to invest in that property. I do not want to put, and Leslie and I do not want to put people in debt to go on a property education that you cannot use it. Okay, so listen, that's a little bit about understanding the planning and the foundations of your journey in property. It is vital to get that right. By getting it wrong, you will make costly mistakes, I'm afraid to say. Listen, I want to wish you a wonderful Christmas. It's coming up to Christmas time and holiday time, and I hope you have a really good time with your family. It's a time to relax and enjoy, and I will have one next Monday. So enjoy this week, be prosperous, and I wish you every success in your journey. All right, bless you. Bye-bye.